Welcome, everyone, to episode 288 of Just Joshing. I am your host, Joshua Pantellaresco. I write stuff in podcast 2. Today, Nancy Bell joins the podcast. Nancy was one of the many people I met at Sweet and Sultry Summer. Awesome individual. Got a chance to actually do a full-fledged one-on-one conversation, which was a lot of fun, and we'll definitely be talking more about current events coming up with her. For example, on September 4th, literally next Wednesday, at Shelf Life Books, she's doing a reading as the grand launch party of Vistas of the West. You are invited to go check it out. Shelf Life Books is definitely a place to go. Wednesday, September 4th, 7 p.m. Be there or be square. Well, I'll be square because I will be working at the Sparkle Muffin. As well, you know, this is the month of September. I'm actually packing stuff up. I officially begin packing this weekend. This weekend is kind of a part 2 of Binge and Purge. I was going to start last weekend, but with the rain hitting like it did, soggy boxes is just not a cool thing. This weekend's going to be a lot lighter, which is really good. I'll get the opportunity to really start rolling with this. Stay tuned for more details. Finally, I am being sponsored next month by Claude Morgan, and definitely should check that out. Claude has a writing database he's going to be advertising, and more on details on that in episode 290 of Just Joshing. He will be the guest then. But I also got 2 books of his to get rid of, which is going to be fun, or rather give away. Like I said, it's going to be a cool month in September. So let's just get to that conversation with Nancy Bell, shall we? And after a word from our sponsor.
This episode of Just Joshing is sponsored by Indie Imprint. Indie Imprint supports creators by creators. Whether you are writing a book or creating a video game, Indie Imprint works with its clients to produce, edit, and present their projects to the world. For more information, check out their website at www.indieimprint.com.
I can never do Toronto again. But if I'm looking at Canada and staying in Canada, which I want to do, I would live in the United States again if it was San Diego, Phoenix, or no, that's about it really.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, maybe Seattle.
Yeah, I was gonna say
maybe. Yeah. Maybe up there, but like I could not live anywhere else in the United States, and I like Phoenix. Phoenix has a really fun Wild West vibe to it. As much as it is, on one hand, it is like just Stop-Go State, but on the other hand, it's anything goes. It's it's a wacky place. That's what it is. I enjoy what I feel. When I was in San Diego for the Comic-Con one year, I literally stayed. My hotel was beside a comic shop, which was a block from the beach. I was very happy. I was very happy there. Right. I did a hostel. It's like, well, everybody gets a hotel. It's like, no, it's okay. A hostel's fine, especially when your hostel's right by the beach. I mean,
well, yeah.
I mean, fuck, right? So, again, so there's that, and then there's also the fact of the matter is, right? That's cool. Seattle and Portland I haven't explored, but they seem really nice.
My girlfriend lives just outside Portland in Gresham.
Yep.
And it's really nice. Mm-hmm. It's really nice.
So they always intrigue me. No to LA, hell no. I know I may have to do business in LA someday. I could see that becoming a reality. Mm-hmm. But
I wouldn't want to live there.
No.
It's crazy.
Little bit. So.
Yeah, LAX was enough for me, thank you.
Oh, so my LA story is fun. So LAX is not the worst. O'Hare's worse than LAX.
No.
O'Hare's worse than LAX, but
I don't know. The bathroom at LAX was pretty bad. I had to tiptoe through
At O'Hare, you didn't have time to use the bathroom.
Oh, well, there's that to it too. Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't have time. I mean, look, as shitty as the bathroom might be in LA, at least you have time for it there.
That's true. I'll give you that.
Yeah, right. Whereas O'Hare, hey, your flight is on the other side of the.
Of course it is.
And it is. Can you get there on foot? It is physically impossible to get there on foot. What if I ran?
No.
I did, just barely.
Oh, really?
Just barely. I was tempted. There was a moment of temptation. If I had stopped, I wouldn't have made it. It was like the food court section. So I was hungry as hell.
Oh, of course.
Right? It was like, oh God, gotta keep going. I can't, because I looked at the times, looked at the lineups. They were efficient, but not that efficient.
I did that in Vancouver one year, going to rainforest retreat in Washington State.
Yep.
And they dump you off at one end of Vancouver Airport, connecting flights the other end, and Air Canada has put these two flights together, so presumably you should have time. But you've got to get one end to the other, plus you have to go through security again. Like, I'm like, seriously? Like, me and this other guy, they held the plane for us. It was like impossible to do it. And I was like, why,
Yeah.
like, why didn't you?
Like what? Why? But again, it's one of those like I don't understand how airplanes are scheduled. But anyway, so my LA experience was this: I land. So I decided. So see, this was a choice. I could have gone to Denver,
Okay.
or I could have gone to LA. Now LA always sounds, from the outside looking in, more romantic.
Yeah.
Yeah, from the outside looking in.
Yeah.
I get in, I get a cab. It's like there's Greyhound station, right? And first off, my cab was more than my flight.
Uh huh.
My cab was also more than the bus to go to Phoenix.
Uh huh.
Of course, the Greyhound bus station is generously in a shithole. I didn't find that.
They usually are.
Yeah, no. There's a big difference between Greyhound up here and Greyhound down there.
Oh, I suppose.
Huge difference, right? It's not. People go, oh, this is uncool up here. No. Down there, if I leave this spot, I'm dead.
Oh yeah, I took a Greyhound. I was 17.
Yeah.
And I took a Greyhound from Toronto to Milwaukee.
Okay.
Yes, I have been in
So-
Chicago Greyhound. I've been in Detroit Greyhound. Yes, there was like a little circle of chairs with, it was all females there. I was like, I'm good right here while I wait for my bus.
Yeah.
It was
It's pretty scary. I met a character who was selling gold, no tax. It was fantastic, right? Yeah. I was in that kind of neighborhood. Fortunately for me, my dad's from Detroit, so it's like I'm savvy enough to look. It's like I am the wrong skin color for this neighborhood, and that's the sad truth. But yes.
Yeah.
Right, but it is what it is. So yeah, that was my LA experience. Now I'm sure there's a nicer LA experience.
I'm sure there is. But
Yeah, but that was mine, and it made me realize that LA is much like every other major metropolis in the United States. There's some really nice places to it, and there are dives, and there's nothing in the middle.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, but anyway, how you doing today? Good.
I've already adopted some cats out this morning.
Nice.
Yeah.
No, for me it's been about like we were talking off the air. I'm getting as many interviews as I can right now because I don't know what it's going to be like the first couple months I'm out there. So
Well, take some time to get used to things.
yeah, well, I'm going to be relatively I'm looking forward to this because it's also the opportunity for me to become a bit more of a blank slate. I don't mind being known for what I'm known for, but I think it's safe to say I've evolved a lot in the last couple of years, right?
Hopefully.
Yeah, well, hopefully, but no, I really do, and I kind of want to see where that evolution takes me, right? And so what I've been doing very quietly is trying to eliminate when you start seeing success, I mean, and this was just me, you look in the mirror and go, okay, what am I doing that's succeeding? And what am I doing that could get in my way? Right?
Okay.
All right, so the final decision came for my current position encourages certain habits in both my job that aren't necessarily conducive to my career.
Okay.
Right. So I want to actually get into a position where I can evolve to where my career, if I do have to have a day job, my day job is actually enhancing my career a lot more than.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. That's the whole explanation of my master plan. How does it sound? Diabolical?
It's got to be diabolical.
It does. Yeah.
So what do you want to do?
It's just something different. Like I could be the guy that works on a movie set. I've done that before. I think I'd enjoy that process, right? Just being around that kind of creativity. I could do sales. Like I could do marketing. I've figured out how to grow a brand from nothing and build an audience with it. That's very valuable out there.
Yeah.
There's that. Just want to do something with my brain. Like it's not that I hate my career. I'm gonna miss the physicality in my job a little bit because I've enjoyed the workouts I've gotten over the years. But when you get right down to it, right, I am very wasted there. And while I don't mind going through a paradigm shift and going through a bit more discomfort, starting from the bottom. It doesn't really matter to me. It just, for me, it's like, I'm better than this. And I don't know what that better exactly is, but I bet you I can find a job out there, or just keep doing what I'm doing here, right? And it'll grow a lot more there, because it just feels like, again, it just feels to me.
Well, I think Vancouver and area is more.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know what the word is exactly, but it's more
conducive.
It's just kind of more eclectic. That word.
Yeah, eclectic.
I never get that word right. And there's a lot more sort of off-the-wall creative people than there is in Calgary.
Yeah. Well, actually, there's a lot of creative people in here.
There is a lot in Calgary, but I think Vancouver's just different.
Well, Vancouver has more opportunities.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing, right? I look here, and I feel in about 5 more years, there's going to be some really cool things. Like, When Worlds Collide's always a good thing, right? Like, that's a great example. But I also feel like what needs to happen now is we need to look at, like, an honest look at the landscape of what we have. We have some good stuff, but we need to expand some stuff too. Like I look at a shop like Gravity, for example.
Mm-hmm.
That is a great spot to launch a book.
Mm-hmm.
No one uses it.
Oh, okay.
Right? That would be a great spot, because it's a cafe. Like, you have booze there. They serve booze.
Yeah.
Right? So you can create a very night-friendly atmosphere in a way that you can't at Owl's Nest. Like, you can to some degree, because
to some degree, but it's a different.
It's a different group. And
Yeah.
so what you're trying. So here, the challenge here going forward is going to be, okay, I've hit this group, this group, this group, this group. That's great. But now, how do I get readers in these groups, right, and expand?
Mm-hmm.
Now the thing is, I mean, we live in an age today where a local author can actually do well if they can acquire a local following.
Yeah.
Right. The problem is, and a lot of authors have to look at this, is most of us don't know how to reach readers.
Mm-hmm.
We reach other writers, no problem.
Yeah, it's
Right.
connecting with readers that is the issue. People who aren't writers as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the thing, right? So I kind of have an idea how to do that. So it's kind of like, let's expand upon what I've done, and that's where I'm at in my personal evolution. How about you? How are things been on?
Good. I need to find some time to write, because it's just Cat Adoptions has been like super busy, because they have this big push right now. Like, any cat over 7 months old is only $25 till the end of the month, and they did a big PR blitz. So it's been like crazy. And I also work a little bit for the publisher, just doing some admin stuff. So I need some time for my own stuff, because I have stories that need to get out there. And then I have 2 poems actually that got included in a book called Vistas of the West.
High five. Yes.
And it's actually launching at, what the heck's it called? Framed on 5th.
Nice.
On the 29th, and then the official launch is at Shelf Life Books
You know what?
on the 4th.
Okay. I'll have to talk with the boss of this podcast. Maybe I can maybe.
Cool.
I hear he's a dick though sometimes.
Oh, really?
So, yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
sometimes that happens.
Sometimes. Right.
Sometimes that happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty. They've got like a whole kind of launchy thing. I think the 14th they're doing something up at Audrey's Books, and then they're doing something at Turner Valley, and they're doing something at Banff.
So that's also an opportunity for you to bring your other books to the table and introduce yourself. I think the one thing I talk about this. Adam, it was very nice to actually include me in his book 5 Critical Things. And one of the things I talk about is an author persona.
Yeah.
Right. Most authors don't have one, or they're very shy of one.
Yeah.
What's yours?
What's mine? Well, mine is. This is historical horror.
I love it.
Jack the Ripper.
I love it.
And that's not what I normally write. And I also have written some erotica.
Yes.
And under
And that's where I know you. And that's where I know you from.
Emily Picasso, which is my horse's name and her daddy's name.
Nice.
Yeah, that's why Picasso is spelled weird.
Yes.
Because it's actually German. It's whatever. Pick means king, or no, Koenig is king. I don't know. It's German.
It's German.
It's German.
You know what you're doing, or something.
Yeah, there's something.
Or something. Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of my that's my persona, and my kids. They're like 39 and 38, And they're like, oh no. My mother did not write that.
Oh, your mom did write that. It's okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, they're like, no.
See, this
Ruined her life.
Yeah, well, it's okay. Wait till they get a little older, and they'll give a shit less than probably you did.
I know. But
And you're gonna love. And if you're still
funny.
and if you're still around, you're gonna love every inch of it. Because you're like,
That's right. I've actually got a piece that's almost finished that I've been working on for a while. It's erotica, but it's basically the theme behind it is the seasonal fight between the Holly King and the Oak King and the dark sides of the year. That's basically the premise of it. And the Oak King's daughter runs away with a mage from the Holly King.
Oh, okay.
He actually kidnaps her, but she doesn't realize that till too late. Because he's actually a conduit for the Holly King, who takes over these young men's bodies, and when he's finished with them, he discards them after he's destroyed them. So it's kind of that internal fight between the Holly King and the conduit, because the conduit actually was in love with the Oak King's daughter, but the Holly King himself does evil things.
It almost sounds like an urban fantasy.
It is.
Yeah. Which, by the way, there's nothing wrong with that either, right?
No, it takes place in Valor's Tower, the Tower of Glass, in all the myths and stuff.
Yes.
So that's I stole the tower.
Yeah, it's okay. Good writers steal all the time.
And put the Holly King in it, and yeah, it's just kind of. And I used a lot of ohm, like the tree ohm.
Have you seen this?
No.
That is a unicorn pen.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yes.
How do you get his horn to come out?
His horn, I think, fell.
You broke his horn?
I did. But he writes out of his own ass, right?
Yeah, well.
Yeah. It's Morton, right?
Don't we all?
Yeah. Sometimes. Yeah, I'm taking this out because, like, for me, like, we're talking about mythology stuff,
Yeah.
right? So my novel, The Cloud Diver, steals from a bunch of things, right? I think we all steal, but where I stole from was, I don't know if I'm going to spoil with the big myth in the story, because it's the big plot outcome. It's one of my it's one of my favorite stories, and it's the one where I'm kind of like, I wanted to do my little homage to it, but on the same token to incorporate all the other things I really love about pop culture today. So there's a JRPG dungeon from, like, I love Japanese role-playing games.
Okay.
So there's literally a dungeon built very similarly to one of my favorite games. And then there's let's see, I have a unicorn that farts rainbows in it. Spam, but it's Spam bot, right? Spam will survive the apocalypse, right? But the thing is, right, that's kind of like our modern mythology. Like we've taken an old concept and just evolved it. Now mine, he farts out advertisements because it's what spam does, right?
That's true.
Right. Although, like, all right, so I have that, but I'm also like, I have zombies, but they're mobsters, so I combine gangsters and zombie mobsters, right?
Cool.
Right, and I've combined, like, I took the classic steampunk trope for one of my main characters, and I'm actually, one of my favorite, like, Stephen King stories is the Dark Tower, the Gunslinger. And I love how he starts and what he becomes at the very end. Mm-hmm. He becomes a very human character as the series evolves, and I kind of have that plan for my character too. Like, she's always going to be a badass, but she's going to be more human, have vulnerabilities, frail thoughts, and
that's when I wrote this. I didn't want people to like my character that is Jack, but at some point I want them to feel sorry for him. Mm-hmm. And that was kind of...
My favorite Jack the Ripper story is actually a science fiction one.
You'll like this one.
Yeah, because my favorite one is but today I have not read yours. Maybe you'll chunk this. Babylon 5.
Oh, yeah, okay.
They had an episode called The Inquisitor.
Okay.
So the idea behind it is they were testing both characters, but mostly Delenn. So basically, the rules were she was in this chain, and this guy was an old king. He's from an old censor, right? And his job was to inquisit the chosen ones.
Okay.
Are you chosen? Are you not? And he would push them in different directions. Are you so sure you're right? Are you right when the world's wrong? And all that's like these big, heady questions. When it's over, there's a moment when he's about to walk away, and they figure out who he was. And who he was, and because he once upon a time thought himself a hero. And then the Vorlons, who were the aliens that abducted him back from that time, showed him how very, very wrong he was. Right? And this was his punishment.
Oh, cool.
And that was Jack the Ripper. It was really good. It is one of it was a really good. It's actually one of the best episodes of that entire series. It won the Hugo.
Yeah.
Awesome. No. It was such.
Awesome.
It's a really good episode. So that's my favorite. Like Jack's such an interest, because again, you look at a character, like there are characters in our even in our time in our history.
Oh yeah.
Right? I'm going to be very curious as we get further into the 21st century when we look back at the icons like the Beatles. What are they going to be written like in about 10, 20 years? Because
there's already that movie.
Yeah, but I mean,
That's totally different, but
but it like when it evolves, like the fact is, like for us, I mean, there's always that fascination with rock culture, the 27-year-old myth. I mean, some very famous people have died at 27 years old.
Yeah.
Right? Why? I mean, there's always those interesting stories.
You could
Right, and these are our modern myths, right? So as we go further and further into the future, right? Now here's the flip side, where my story kind of ties into things too, is all our history is collected.
Yeah.
In a way that has not been done, I think, at any point in history. Instead of, we know Tutankhamun probably was a dick, but we don't know actually for sure. We can only just make pieces and facsimiles and guess. We have Facebook, we have Instagram, we have Snapchat, we have all these things, right? So we're all recorded all the time, right? So we live in an era where our stories, someone can judge our stories from beginning to end a lot more now. So it's going to be very interesting to see the kind of what stories we tell ourselves based on that.
Yeah, that's true, because I mean, I've studied a lot of like the old Irish myths and the the Red Book of Routledge and the Yellow Book of Lacan and stuff, but a lot of them are redactions from original manuscripts.
Yes.
And then a lot of them were also transcribed by Christians, by monks, and so there's always that, they twisted things.
Well, yeah.
You have to kind of read between the lines to get the actual story sometimes.
Because again, you're looking back when only a select few had access to information.
Yes.
Right, a very select few, and they again, although there are definitely holes in how that was presented, they were their own advertisement, and credit to the church, they lasted 1,000 years.
There's some like the Book of Kells is absolutely beautiful.
Yep.
And I love that quote that's in it about the white cat, Bangor Bad. That just kills me.
Yeah. And even looking at like old books now, my dad just sent me a very interesting old book. I'm reading it. It talks about how they looked at the secret histories of the world back in the 1920s.
No, I love those.
Yeah.
I love those old books. I've got some at home that were my great grandfathers and stuff.
Yeah, because they're different. They're so different.
Total worldview difference. Totally.
But very, very useful, because you can actually.
Oh, I know, it's awesome.
Because it's such a different way. The biggest thing we're missing today is the problem. We try to uniform everything. And because of that, I mean, what's happening now is everything kind of is uniform in terms of facts, and there's great, but there's a lot of things that are ignored, and there's a lot of things that aren't talked about or highlighted in a way that would be conducive to everybody.
Yeah.
But again, that's the world we live in today.
Yeah, it is.
So.
Yeah, everything's so, I don't know.
Homogenized?
Yeah, kind of like.
Yeah.
And the whole sort of trying to sterilize history.
The thing is, there's no safety. I mean, the bigger the bubble we build ourselves, the more dangerous the world becomes to us. Whereas if you embrace the world and see it for what it is, if you're willing to do that, you can actually, it's still dangerous.
Oh, well.
But you're tougher. You're a lot tougher. It's interesting, right? And again, we are encouraged to be enclosed off. Like, I realize that my phone is a giant echo chamber. Right? That's what it is.
Yeah, that's true.
So if my phone is an echo chamber, then I can't believe anything on my phone.
But you have to take a lot of it with a grain of salt.
Well, no, but I mean all of it. You can't make those assumptions anymore, right? Like anything in here is presented in any truth. If you are gonna look for truth in this world, you have to get out of your comfort zone completely. It's the only way to do it.
Yeah.
And everybody has their comfort zones. Everybody has their spaces. So what I try to do is I try to be aware of mine, right?
Mm-hmm.
Make decisions of the battles I think I can fight, and then try to keep an open mind. That's it.
Yeah.
It might work. I'm hoping it works.
Well, I think especially working in animal welfare, if you don't keep an open mind, you just want to go postal with a gun on somebody for some of this shit that happens. And you just have to step back and go, how damaged can someone be to do that?
Yeah.
And just take that step back and plus you can't be angry all the time.
Oh no.
You've got to let it go. It is what it is, and you do what you can to mitigate it, but you can't own someone else's.
There's that, but there's also just reality. Anger is a great thing to make us understand the injustices of the world. But anger in itself is not strong enough to change the world.
No, it's not.
You actually need joy. If you don't have it, your anger will burn out eventually, and so will you.
Yep. Yeah, and that's exactly what happens.
Yeah, that's how it works. I am watching people again protesting. There's always a lot of things to fight. There's a lot of things to protest. There's a lot of battles to be fought. But yeah, with those battles, you can't just come at it in pure anger. You got to have passion. Yes, and that is required. But you got to find a way to find your joy. If you don't, you're never gonna win.
No, and the world becomes ugly.
Yes.
To you.
Absolutely.
Like, yeah.
I had my ass kicked enough in life, and I was like, you know what? You can't be angry at everything anymore.
You can't. When you get to be my age, you'll.
Yeah, you go. I'm terrified. I'll be like at your age.
Yeah.
I barely give a shit now. Right?
Well, you just look at it differently.
Yeah.
Like, you don't do the crazy wild things that you did when you were.
I hope to do a couple of them. I might need a nap afterwards, but I'm hoping.
Oh, no, you never need that.
Yeah.
You just keep going.
Yeah. Okay.
Just keep going.
Yes.
But yeah, you don't do as many dumb things.
Yes. I sincerely hope I'm wise enough for that.
You still do crazy things, but you don't do, hopefully, the dumb things anymore.
I hope I'm wise enough. That's all.
And you try to rein yourself in and think before you blast someone about something that you need to really take a step back.
Yep. I just hope I can maintain my passion because that's a again. I'm not saying you have or haven't, because I obviously look. You wrote several books here.
Yeah.
And they're.
This one, I brought them. Sorry, if you want, you can read them or give them away. This one is written from the dog's point of view.
Oh, okay.
That one's written
That's awesome.
from Teddy's point of view, and he's quite the matchmaker.
Oh.
He's quite the matchmaker.
That's hilarious.
The guy that it was a short story about 10,000 words, and this gentleman died, and his wife wanted his books to carry on, so she asked me if I would take Teddy's story and make it into a novel. So now it's like 50,000 words, but the kernel of it was Pat's. But
was he a good friend?
No, I actually didn't know him that much.
Oh, really?
But I edited for him.
Oh, okay. So you had a professional relationship.
Yeah,
with
and
yeah.
So when he died, his wife asked if I would do that, and these, not this one.
Yes.
But these two, I rewrote this one totally because it was terrible. Oh my God, it was bad. And this one I just tidied up for him, but this one's fine.
Yeah.
That one's fine. But,
so,
but yeah.
So that leads to this question: did you start as an editor or a writer?
A writer.
Okay. But
an author. I've been writing since I was like in grade school.
Okay.
I still have crap I wrote in grade school.
I'm looking for one right now Good Evening has this thing of reading bad things.
Uh-huh.
So I had this idea of this dolphins that save the world, and that sounds fantastic, right?
Okay.
But this is 8-year-old me now. This 8-year-old me. Wouldn't it be cool if the dolphins talk like they actually do?
Yeah.
It sounds great, right?
Yeah.
But when you read that out loud, you don't understand what you actually were supposed to say. It was a cool idea, but I'm 8, right? So
yeah, but later in life you could take that idea because you have more life experience and different worldview, and you might be able to.
Well, so this is what I'm going to do. If I can find the story, I'm going to read it in front of an audience,
Yeah.
and every time we get to the dolphin language, I do kung fu translations.
Oh,
But-
dear who.
Yeah, no, because if you're going to be bad, embrace your bad, and just
Yeah.
embrace it, right?
Yep.
But also so I mean that's me. So when we talk about bad stuff like that, cool idea, and that for me as a writer, that has been my weakness. I have cool ideas.
Yeah.
My execution, I've been working on getting better and better and better and better because I want my writing to reflect my ideas.
Okay.
Right? I think my ideas are awesome, so I want my writing to be awesome. So now I would say I'm consciously competent.
Consciously competent. Okay.
Right? I haven't gotten to the point where I'm unconsciously competent, where it's muscle memory.
I'm not sure we ever really get to that stage because I have red flags that still go off when I'm writing. You know, because I mean I don't edit as I write because you never finish the story, but I have little flags that go off if I
Oh yeah.
type certain words or.
Yeah, well, I think for straps especially, I let myself make as many.
Oh, yeah, you have to.
Yeah. I do. I call it the marble in the box method, where I just dip a marble in paint and I bounce off the box
Yeah.
until it creates an image. Right. I'm okay with the mistakes. Like right now, I'm writing this race inside a star. That's what I'm doing.
Okay.
Right. It's going all kinds of places right now that I know.
But that's the fun part.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the fun part.
Right, and some of this is really good, and some of this is really bad, and some of this is in the middle. So I'm trying to separate my chocolate chip cookies from the other brown stuff in there, and
Yeah.
then that's all. That's what when I actually type it up, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to read it. I'm going to go, this works, this works, this works, this works, and then draft. Put all the stuff that works as draft like 1.5 or 2, depending on your point of view. And then go, okay, where do I need to add scenes? Here to connect,
Right.
do the connecting tissue, and that'll be draft 3.
Yeah.
And then draft 4, or I might just go, okay, I'm blind now, I need someone to read this.
Well,
Yeah.
everybody gets to that point.
Yeah,
'Cause
absolutely.
You have to.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, yeah.
Because we get too close to our own work and we know what we meant when we wrote it, but somebody else reads it and they're like,
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Oh,
how'd you
yeah.
get from here to here?
Magic.
Yeah, magic.
Yeah, it's okay. But I mean, so it sounds to me like just based on what you showed me in the back, right? The pop bell, like you went into editing or admin stuff for a long time, and now you're kind of like going all in again on writing. Does that make sense? Or
I've been writing all along,
yeah,
but editing sometimes actually gets in the way of writing because I have commitments to other people that I have to do before I can
obviously.
chop out a spot for me. But yeah, I just had a bit of a hiatus lately. Well, I wrote Rhonda Parrish had a call for swashbuckling cat stories.
Oh, you'd be great.
So I wrote a swashbuckling cat story, but it could only be 9,000 words. And I'm like, damn it! So when I'm finished, I had to like chunk pieces out because I had way too many words. But I kept the good parts. But yeah. It's called The Secret of the Cat's Purr. And someone has stolen the cat's purr, the secret of the cat's purr. And the secret is that their purr enslaves humans to do their duty.
Oh.
And so the canines want this.
Oh, okay.
But the corvids, which are like crows and ravens and magpies, are also involved in this.
I love the idea of Puss in Boots. It's one of my favorite little things.
The cat's name is Brisket Eye Boots. And Brisket because I had this foster cat that was a real dick. And that was his name. And he's named after his great-grandfather, Puss in Boots. So the I Boots is in honor of his grandfather.
Nice.
Yeah.
No, it's cool. No,
it's fun. And he ends up swinging through a tavern in Corvidae, which is the town he's in, with Al E. Cat under his arm because he's saving her from the ravens. It's
Okay,
it's really stupid.
You had fun.
It was a lot of fun.
But that's the best
And
stuff.
it was good.
Yeah, but that's the best stuff for writing.
And I
right?
needed, and it was short, so it didn't take me.
But we need to have fun.
Yeah.
Did you go to the Dr. Seuss off?
I did.
Me
and Joe and the other guy.
Yeah, I had a lot of.
That was fun. Although we probably pissed off the people behind us, but whatever.
I've already. So next year I'm moving it to Friday night so we can have booze as well.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, no, just it was packed.
Oh, I know. It was crazy.
Well, no, because last year's was really good too. right? Last year it was a little bit more intimate, but this year I was prepared. So we're going to do teams this year because
because it would have taken forever.
Yeah,
you wouldn't have got through it.
Yeah, well, that's just it, and I think they cut us off because we were too loud. But that's a good problem to have.
A little loud, you know.
Well, that text message never should have been read out loud. That never should have been read out loud. That was a bad idea.
No, yeah, well, because that was just like, oh really? We're loud.
Yeah,
Let's go pound on the wall for a while.
Well, again, next year, like even if it stays on Saturday, it'll be in a. I've already talked to Randy about it. It's
somewhere so we don't disrupt other people.
Yeah, it's meant to be fun. It's meant to be fun. It's not meant to be like. One of the things I think a lot of writers forget about what we do is there's a very fun creation's at its best when you add a little chaos and a little fun to it.
Yep.
Right. That's
totally.
right. You need that because it's easier for your intuition to find different things that you wouldn't normally find. Yeah, right. Don't get me wrong. Like I've learned as I've gotten older, story structure is really good. Right. Story structure is nice.
But sometimes it comes after the initial creation.
Yeah, exactly. And which is again.
Because I don't know. I sat on this panel that was totally annoying, but it needed a moderator really badly, because the two chicks on the end just kept yapping and nobody else got to say anything. It was like, but I was good. I didn't say anything. I didn't get up and walk out. I thought about it, but I didn't. I sat there and smiled. But it was like pants to paper. Like, how do you get from your this to this? And I don't know how people get these storyboards and all this stuff. I would spend more time fiddling with that than I would writing.
Okay, so.
And then my characters take off some other direction anyways.
Well, okay, so I always think, this is how I think of a storyboard and stuff. This might sound, this is me making it fun.
Okay.
It's a treasure map.
Okay.
That doesn't always work.
No, but I could deal with that.
Yeah, no, it's a treasure map because it's, like when I write a story, I always have an idea where the ending is. I have an idea of what the ending is, I have an idea of what the beginning is, and I don't have everything in the middle nailed down. But I do have a couple points in the middle that are nailed down. Right now, that all said, every once in a while a character's going to go to me. Nope.
I know.
Right? We're not going that way. Where are we going? We're going to take this beaten. There's potholes and there's a hole in the middle. I know, but we're going to go there. Okay? We're going to go there. And so we go there. And it's usually better than what I can come up with, right? And every once in a while too, like when I wrote my last book in my poetry trilogy, there's a point in the story where one of my characters said, "You got to kill me now."
And you're like, what?
You got to kill. It's like, what? It's like, it needs to happen. Like, this is the end of the story, right? So if we're not doing any more, I need to go. This is where I need to leave. It has to happen here. Right? And I was like, it was way stronger. It led to it made the ending very, very quick and very, very brutal, but it needed to be quick and very brutal because it was the end of the story. But if I'd gone the other way, there would have been no consequences. There would have been no, right? You have to have stakes with your characters. You have to remind the characters that, there comes a point when the magic it's done. You're where you need to be and it's time to move on.
Yeah.
Right? And that's it. But the ending I had, by and large, was the same. The main character had a dream in the first book about where he always kind of wondered. So the last chapter of the book is, well, now you know where it was called. He wondered where the river ended, right? So the last chapter in the series is called Where the River Ends, right? And that's it. And then that is where I leave him forever, or maybe one day I come back.
Maybe one day
he comes back, but for now it's
they do it all the time with soap operas.
Yeah, exactly, absolutely. But that's it, right? But sometimes your characters will dictate it. But I always look at it. It's like it's either I look at story building like that way as Lego blocks or a treasure map, and either way, right? It's more fun. But then it's a way more fun than actually trying to construct a story. Now I'm sometimes when I've written the Race Inside a Star novel, right? My minimum writing is 4 pages. I've gone as many as 20 in a sitting. So right now it's a big mountain of. It's almost I'm about halfway through the second notebook. I've already gone through one notebook already on it, and so I'm halfway through the second. I don't think I finished this notebook, but I might.
Maybe.
Right, I might. right? And if I do finish this notebook, it's like I know like a whole bunch of this is not going to be used. But then that's when I build my treasure map. Okay.
But you can always use it in another,
Absolutely.
something else.
Absolutely. No, I'm not saying that all of this is bad. It's just okay. What's the story about, right? And then what fits the story? Because again, good books from bad books. The vision of the book is usually very clear from start to finish.
Yeah.
That's what I've learned, right? So if I'm consistent that way, it'll at least be good.
Yes, for sure.
Right?
For sure.
Yeah. So.
I know. I can't do the scene 1, scene 2, scene 3. I can't. I spend more time fiddling with that, and then when I actually start writing, I go someplace else anyways.
Which, like I said, a roadmap's a good idea because in case you get lost, it can always
Yes.
you can come back.
Yeah.
Right.
I always have an idea of, this is beginning, this is the end, and this is kind of where I think I'm going.
Yeah.
And I stick fairly close to that, but I don't actually like.
You're not. You don't need to be faithful to the road.
No.
But you need to be.
I need to know where it is.
Yeah. That's it, right? And that's all it's for, right?
Yeah.
Right. It's like also a good television Bible, right? Some Bibles are really, really good. They're basically so you don't get lost.
Yeah.
Right? Because when television shows deviate from their Bible too much.
Yeah, you're like.
Well, another science fiction show I really liked was Andromeda. I love it.
Oh yeah.
I love the first season's amazing.
Yeah, I watched a little bit of it. I haven't watched it.
Yeah. The first season's incredible. The second season's actually really good too overall. Even though halfway through, the guy, the series creator, walked.
Oh dear.
He walked off the set halfway through, and you can tell like when you get to season 3, quality dipped. Season 4, quality really dipped for a while. But it kind of nosed up. And the 5th season, the last season, is actually really interesting. Because I don't know if they would have come this way if they hadn't messed up the way they did.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
Right? But what they came up with was really, 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 really interesting. And one of my favorite things I've ever seen, it gave me an idea for something a long time ago, was him walking into a corridor and seeing himself coming out.
Oh.
It was an interesting idea, right? So I thought, right, like myself, like with the way they built this and the way they would do it, like they went from season 1.5 to season 4, they completely deviated from their Bible.
Oh, really?
You can feel you feel like the show was groping for it, right, and it just didn't. Right, it wasn't a bad show, but it wasn't as good as it was.
It wasn't as good as it could have been.
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel that way about Big Bang Theory too.
Yeah, I know, and I'm like, and then they ended it, and I'm like.
Well, no, they needed to. That show was. They need to end The Simpsons too.
Yeah.
They need to end it.
Yeah, because I haven't watched The Simpsons in years.
Simpsons are nearly as old as I am.
Well, yeah, I remember when The Simpsons started. It was all that, whatever it was.
Yeah, 19.
Carumba or whatever it was, or Holy something or other.
Yeah, I mean, they it's impressive feat and all, but they're not saying anything new, and it's a caricature of itself. Walk away. Yeah.
Yeah, because it would have been like 1980.
89.
89?
89. It was when it started. 1990s when it actually became a series.
Yeah, because my kids were kind of at that. They were like, it would have been 9 and 7 in 19.
I didn't appreciate them when I was younger, but older, like I really like those first 7 seasons are still really good.
Yeah, I didn't appreciate them at the time because I was like.
Yeah. Well, no.
As a parent, I was like.
But it was smart stuff.
Had to reel your children in.
Yeah, but
it was fine.
Yeah. Oh, it's smart stuff, right? So,
yeah.
Yeah. So when you do find time again, more novels.
Probably, yeah. I always write poetry. That's an ongoing thing. I write poetry when I'm out with my horses in my head or walking the dogs, and then you just write it down when you get home so you don't forget it. But I always write poetry. It's always there. And stories are always there in my head. It's just our characters will kind of show up and start yittering at me, and
it's like in the car of life, they come to the front seat and go, "Hey, listen,
yeah,
you need to talk about me.
Get your ass in the gear and write this down, woman." So yeah, I have the Longview series. There's like 3 or 4 kind of peripheral characters that I want to write their stories because they all intertwine. It's kind of a cozy thing, and it's fun to write. It's fun to write. And I've got, in my YA, I just started a new series, kind of with the same kind of main girl character, but this one is totally set in Alberta, and it's totally different. The first 3 books are a lot of magic and myth and legends in them, and these ones, the first one and this one doesn't have any really. It's just basically they're trying to save some wild horses from going to the slaughterhouse. Basically, is what the story is. And it's something that I'm quite passionate about because it's happening in Alberta.
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
And apparently they did some kind of contraceptive or something that they were trying to do with mares, and they kind of botched the whole friggin' thing. And so now they're talking about a cull again. And it's just a load of crap.
We are in a weird time. Normally, like once upon a time, we had a lot more. Nature checked itself in balance a lot more. We don't have them. We destroyed a lot.
We screwed with it too much.
Well, absolutely. We don't have those things anymore. So
we had all those wild horses down at Suffield that they moved out in the 90s because they're ruining things, and they put elk out there instead. And the elk have now destroyed the water holes, all the riparian areas, and now they're talking about getting rid of the elk. And I'm like, the horses lived there for friggin' years, and everything was fine.
It's
political.
Yeah.
All politically pushed comes from the.
Well, it's just
ridiculous.
It's the nature of the beast, right? We live in a what is essentially a construct. That is what it is. It's not. It's an illusion. It's not. The realest things in this place are you, I, and the people that walk into it. So, not every person that walks into it either, because some people don't realize the construct for what it is, right? But it's a construct. So because it's a construct, you know that someone's going to come up with an idea somewhere and change things, with no thought of consequence, with no thought of, because it doesn't fit whatever that worldview is at that time.
Yeah.
Right? Now, one day, this is all going to be gone. It's all going to collapse, and
it will.
Yeah. Oh yeah. All right. It's all going to collapse, and then one day, it'll go back. There'll be a lot more checks and balances again, right? Especially when things become more and more pinched, right? There's going to be a lot less. There's going to be a lot less public service. There's going to be a lot more like dog eat dog. And
well, it's happened before.
Oh, it'll happen again.
It'll happen again.
It'll happen again because
people are oblivious to the fact, like water. How can you? Water is basically a limited supply, and it's not really renewable when you waste it.
Yes.
And people have no concept of that.
Yeah.
You know, and they keep making cities bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And well, for every single unit that you put on there, they're going to use X number of gallons of water. And at some point it runs out. But there's no.
Well, it's not that there's no thought. It's just here's the. We as a culture waste everything.
Yes.
Not just water, everything.
Everything.
Right.
I know.
So the reality is, right now, we have a lot more. We have a lot more than people realize. Us. Right. But it's all in how you divvy it up. The reality is right now that, okay, North America would have to make the biggest adjustment right now, right? Yeah. We use about 80% of the resources out there. Now if we went down to 40, right? And we spread out everywhere else a little bit more, right? We probably would make this last even as we expand for quite a while yet. Right. Also, there are people that are looking at some very interesting solutions worldwide to some of these problems. So you could fund that stuff. You could do that, and it would take time, but you could reverse at least some of the course we're going on. But the reality is, right? This is the thing is, we're in a construct. The construct eats, and the more you feed it, the more it needs to eat. There's a video game I love. It's called it's a worm game. You're a little worm and you're eating stuff, and you get bigger. Eventually, the tiniest worm can pop you. So you actually have to avoid getting in contact with other things, and that is it. But the bigger you get, the bigger you have to eat. How big can you get, right? That's what's happening here. We're going to a point where we're getting bigger. And what's going to eventually happen is pop. right?
It will happen.
Yeah, because, and the other thing too is we hate saying this, but it's the truth. We're not the number one, again, based on how the machine works, we're not the number one most financially viable place in the world anymore.
Oh, we're not.
No, right? Nor is the States. Like it's now China. It's now India. It's now South America. It's now Russia. It's now all these other places that have a say, and they have a big say on how the world works.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to look out for themselves because you would, right?
Mm-hmm.
And as time goes on, right? As more and more time goes on, things will spread out. And we will lose as workers. This is kind of why I'm kind of being an entrepreneur, trying to be more of an entrepreneur now. The working class, as we know it, is doomed. It just is, right? You cannot function in a world like this, right? You cannot function in a world like this without, unless you have your own viable plan. You just know, like, my day job, not going to take care of me when I retire. I know that.
No.
Right? I'm way too young.
Well, we always say we're on Freedom 95. Instead of Freedom 55, it's Freedom 95.
Well, no, I'm never going to. Again, that's why I'm going to be more of an entrepreneur than that, because if I can be miserable and hate something I'm doing, or I can have a purpose and enjoy my life and do something I love, and something I can live with doing, and let that take me in all kinds of weird places, and that's kind of what I'm doing, right? Because I know, like, there's no future in anything around me, right?
Yeah, and you just have to have the courage to step out of that kind of safe bubble that you're in, and
well, you have to. There's your comfort zone. There's where the magic
happens.
Yeah, there's your comfort zone. And there's where the magic happens.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, I know we've done that a couple of times in our lives. Just kind of went,
screw it.
Yep, doing this, and sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't.
But you learn from it every time.
Oh yeah,
and you become a different person as a result.
Yeah, you do, and it's part of who you are. So.
Yeah, and in your case, you probably, are you happier you did all those things?
Oh, well, of course.
Some people.
There's a few things I did when I was in my teenage years that I'm like, oh, you shouldn't have done that. But
it made you who you are now.
But you did, so.
But you did, and you learned.
Yeah, because I would think I was on self-destruct when I was in my teenage years.
Most people are.
Yeah, it was seriously self-destructive. It was bad, but
you learn.
You outgrow it. Hopefully you outgrow it.
Well, at some point you have to come to the realization that this is all you got. You can keep destroying yourself all you want to, but every time.
I think the realization is that you can't run away from whatever it is that you're running away from, because that's what you're doing when you're being self-destructive. You're running away from something.
Yeah.
And at some point you have to realize that you can run all you want.
You can't.
You can't go over it, you can't go around it, you can't go under it, you gotta go through it. And get out the other side and deal with whatever it is.
Well, yeah, it's it. You have to face yourself. At some point, I just put a Carl Jung thing up there. At some point, the thing that most of us struggle with and run from is trying to reclaim our soul. Right?
Yeah, well, there's a whole bunch of, I don't know what you want to call it, new age stuff where you do soul retrievals.
Yeah, it's a Jungian concept.
Yeah,
right? It's a Jungian concept. The idea is you gotta find yourself somewhere, and when you find yourself, you have to grasp it, and you have to accept whatever it is you see when you find it. My case, I starved to death. I was nearly starving to death, and I realized in that moment, when you have absolutely nothing, you learn who you are very quick. You have a choice. You have to deal, whatever that darkness is, you got to deal with it.
Yeah.
So I dealt with my own darkness. I came out of it a lot stronger. When I fixed my teeth, I dealt with what was left of that. I came out of that a lot stronger. Now it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous how much confidence I have now compared to even 2 years ago.
Oh, well, that's good then.
Oh yeah, no, it was good. Well, like this afternoon, I'm dealing with someone who's been very, very disconnected when we work together.
Okay.
Right. Last week I wasn't sure if I was going to stay where I was, but it looks like I'm staying there.
Okay.
So now I'm just going to make it mine, right? And I'm not going to worry about it because it's like, well, you're not engaging, So I'm going to make the most of my time here, whether you're here or not.
Yeah.
Right? They're not going to like it today.
No, but
That's life.
that's their problem.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and that's something else that you come to figure out as you get older, is that you can't own other people's issues, and you can't own other people's actions. You know,
No.
even if they're people that are close to you, like my family's very, just not my family, but my birth family is quite dysfunctional. It's a good word for it.
That is a good word for it, yes.
And, you know, I used to get really cranky about, just frustrated with how they were and reacted. I don't know why I'm beeping. And,
You're popular.
that's scary.
Yeah.
And I came to the conclusion that I can't, me being upset or annoyed at them isn't going to change them.
No.
And I can't own it. And
I learned this.
Whatever.
I learned this about a year and a half ago. What every human being has in common, every one of us, given the circumstances, given our choices, we do exactly what we want to do. The only difference is, do you own your wants, or do your wants own you? Right?
Yeah, that's true.
That's really what it comes down to. And it doesn't matter. You do what you want. So I realized that, well, okay, I can't control what everybody else does, but what do I want?
Mm-hmm.
And what can I do to make it happen? I want to be treated with respect. That's a really simple thing,
Yep.
right? It's a really simple thing. So no matter what my situation is, I'm going to be treated with respect. And if they don't like it, oh well, right? And right, that's it, right? That's just where I'm at. It's just like, I'm going to just be me. You can be you. I'm not interrupting you being you. I'm not caring. I'm just doing my thing.
yeah, and a lot of how you view yourself and how you present yourself to the world will dictate sometimes how people will treat you as well.
Absolutely. Like I said, going back to the job. I wear, like I said, I can't. It's not conducive for me to present myself in the way I want to present myself there, because I'm in a dirty environment. Right? That's just the reality. I'm just in a very dirty environment. So I can't, right? It doesn't behoove me there to present myself in the way I should. That doesn't necessarily mean, however, right, that while I'm there, I let anyone walk on me either.
No, it's just it. And it's not necessarily your physical presence. It's your attitude and your confidence and how you expect people to treat you, kind of.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, there's easygoing. Like, I'm easygoing.
Yeah.
Right.
So am I to a point.
Well, I'm pretty easygoing, but there's easygoing, and there's like, you know what? No, this is a little too far.
At some point, there's a line.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what I mean. Like, I'm easygoing too, but at some point, there's a line where you go, no.
Yep, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, and people have to respect that.
Yep. Well, the other thing I've learned in the last little bit too, and just how I carry myself, I intimidate people sometimes. I don't know how I do it exactly, but I've noticed it in the last little bit. It's like, hey, you want to do something? Yeah, sure. And then the moment comes, I need to kind of not do it. I'm like, really? That's my evolution.
Hang out with wilder people.
I do. No. Oh, actually, I think that's the hilarious part. A lot of people who think they're wild aren't really aren't really that.
Talk the talk, but don't walk the
walk. Yeah. Whereas I don't always talk it, but I do walk it. Kind of, I march to the beat of my own drum, and that's it.
People get surprised sometimes because I don't come across as crazy.
But you're not.
But give me a moment.
You're not crazy. You just own it.
Well, I mean, I guess maybe it's just because I'm older or whatever, but people don't expect you to do silly, crazy things.
Well, it depends. Like,
I always have.
Yeah.
Like, always.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No, there isn't anything wrong with it, but it's just kind of funny the way people react sometimes.
No, it's just one of those, like, you don't have to play by anybody's rules but your own.
No,
and
I don't.
And the reality is, right, and just strictly, most people seek permission.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? You don't need permission. I mean, once you realize that, it's just like, oh, okay. It's like today. I wasn't sure if I was going to stay there for a week, so I kind of went with the flow last week because it's like, but I'm like, well, I'm still here. This is my place now. Okay. So now it's time I decorate the place my way, right? Because I'm not insensitive, but I got to be here.
Yeah.
Right? And so again, no one gave me permission. I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And we have to. More people have to take ownership of their own life, basically.
Yeah.
And not let other people or circumstances dictate.
Well, yeah. Like I said, last week I was nice. This week,
Not so much.
Not so much because it was just I wanted to see how it worked. I was going to be there, and when I realized, wait, I'm the only constant up here. Okay.
Yeah, sometimes you just have to have a bit of an edge to...
Well, you got to be ruthless a little bit. You have to be a little ruthless. I mean, we'll end the interview. We'll end the interview talking about that. You needed this. I had a friend of mine come to me for advice on an editing job, and I listened to them, and I explained to them. It's like I told them, it's like, okay, maybe when you had kids, right, you had to be nice about this because you had kids to feed. Well, you're by yourself now.
You have different constraints.
Yeah. But now that you're on your own, you don't have to put up with this anymore.
No.
Right? 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 You can say no. You got to be willing to put yourself through some discomfort sometimes with this. But honestly, no is a simple word.
Yeah, and if you're unhappy in your job and it's stressing you out,
leave.
Even if you have, somehow you always do what you need to do. And somehow stuff happens that makes it work for you. Like, I walked out of jobs when my kids were little because I was like, I don't need to take this.
Yeah.
I don't need to take this. And
again, no is a very simple word. It does take some guts, though.
Oh, it does. Because
Yeah.
It's not just I'm leaving my job. It's like, okay, if I leave my job, I have, a mortgage, I have kids, I have this, I have that. But by the same token, it's like, I am miserable. Or somebody's being totally a dink about it. And you're like, you know what? I don't need to take this.
You can swear on my podcast. It's okay.
Okay.
Yeah, you can swear on my podcast. It's okay. One of my favorite, one of my favorite comedies is MASH.
Oh, I love MASH.
MASH, everybody likes that show. Is that show still good even by today's standards?
Yeah,
It's fantastic. It basically says, there's one of my favorite lines there, at the end of the day, you only have two things. Your dignity and your self-respect.
Yeah.
You can't trade either.
No.
At all, ever. They're the only two things you actually have. Everything else is transitory.
Yeah.
So, dignity, self-respect. So again, you might put up with it a little bit more because, again, you're like, okay, I have to make sure they're taken care of.
Yeah.
But there comes a point, it's like, you know what, this is never going to change. This is never going to get any better.
Yeah.
I have to make a decision. Do I want to live like this?
Yeah, why am I digging the hole deeper?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But everybody comes to those realizations sooner.
They do, and some people never come to those realizations.
Yeah.
They just stay miserable.
Yep.
And at that point, I know my dad didn't have a very good life when he was younger, and he never really got over being a victim, kind of. But when he died, I remember one of the first things I thought was, I hope he learned in this life what he needed to learn so that his next life will be better. So he doesn't have to repeat whatever it was he was trying to learn in this life.
So that's interesting. I'm not sure if I believe in another life after this, or just me personally. I sincerely hope that there's something beyond this, because to me, right, if I was always condemned to be here, I feel like it's in the odd way that's kind of like hell. Even though I know, again, you put water in the same salt enough times it changes. I get the metaphor there, but my genuine hope, we all have opportunities to learn things, right? And as you get older, you react, as I've gotten older, I look at my dad. I love my dad, but there are things about his life that are not meant for me, right? I'm my own person. I have to evolve beyond certain things. It doesn't mean I don't utilize what works.
No, for sure.
Right, but I mean, and it does also mean, like, again, I'm always going to be my father's son. I'm always going to, there's just certain ways, there's just certain ways I'm going to carry myself that are directly because I am.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm looking at, like, do I have to be this way? Do I have to be that way? And that's where I'm kind of at right now is I can be with whoever I want to be. And so who do I want to be? And it's like, well, I can be this, I can be this, I can be this, I can be this, and what do I want? Let's try a couple of these hats and see what actually fits.
Yeah.
Right? And I'll be different, but again, I'll still be me.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, I think a lot of people miss those chances.
And every choice we make changes the course, but we're still who we are.
Absolutely.
And whatever choices you make need to be true to who you really are, and not sort of moved by circumstances. Or because it's easier to do something.
That one's the danger.
Yeah.
Circumstances sometimes do force changes.
They do. But you have to consciously be aware of that.
Yes. Yeah. But I think the one where it's easier, I always say this. There's a difference between simple and easy.
Yeah.
There's a huge difference. You make it sound so easy. It's like, no, I'm not making it sound easy. I'm making it sound simple. There's a huge difference.
Yeah.
Huge.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah.
Easy is the dangerous road.
Easy is the slippery slope into comfort, no matter what kind of comfort it is.
Yeah.
And comfort creates basically shackles.
Yeah, and lots of times you sacrifice part of who you are by doing that. And some people break those chains and some people never do.
Yeah.
And
Well, most people don't even recognize they're chained. That's actually the thing, right?
Yeah,
That's the frightening part.
Exactly.
That's the frightening part, right? So, but that, I think from the interview point of view, I think we have a good interview here. What do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why don't you plug what's recent for you and how people can find you?
Well, you can find me at Books We Love Publishing, bwlpublishing.ca. I also have a website at www.nancymBell.ca. My latest book is a YA called Wild Horse Rescue, set in Pincher Creek, Alberta, and basically deals with a young girl and her friends trying to save some wild horses from going to slaughter.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I want to thank Nancy for coming on to my show. So Nancy, thank you very, very much for being a guest. Definitely welcome back anytime you want to. Before I go this week, I kind of want to mention two more things. I want to congratulate Sophia Evangelina for winning her Youth Award for her album. She was on CTV this week. It's kind of cool to watch her rise. So Sophia, if you are listening to this by any chance, congratulations. You deserve your success. Outside of that, I kind of also want to mention the Third Space podcast. Also starting next week, you'll be seeing more from Third Space for the month of September. Jeremy Berkeley is doing voiceovers for the podcast other than the Third Space one, which I'll be doing, which will be kind of cool. But I want to thank Jeremy just for everything he's doing, and you'll be hearing more of his voice on the show going forward. And that'll do it for this episode, Just Joshing. So if you want to support the podcast, you can do so in a number of different ways. Support my sponsors, Indie Imprint. Check out indieimprint.com if you're an independent creator, whether you're a writer, a musician, or a video game programmer, or any of those things. You should definitely check it out. Number one. Number two, you can subscribe to my podcast. I am on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, and of course on Podomatic. Buy my books, Watcher, Storm Dancer, Wandering God, courtesy of MirrorWorldBooks.com. MirrorWorldPublishing.com to be specific. My YouTube channel is Joshua Pintellaresco. My Facebook page is Joshua Pintellaresco, author, podcaster. My Twitter and Instagram is at jpintellaresco. Above all else, guys, stay inspired, and I'll talk to you guys soon.
Josh.